Investing once was somewhat of a no-brainer. 100 years ago, following widely accepted conventions, successfully generated and maintained comfortable wealth for the masses, as well as those who have substantial assets, who are the focus of this report. But as years passed, the path to maintain wealth at ultra-high levels began to muddy. What has evolved has become difficult to navigate without help. Many of the investment conventions passed down from the Great Depression continue to work even after the Nixon administration removed the United States from the gold standard. But over time, the financial services industry became convoluted and biased. Making things worse, persistently low interest rates since 2001 have brainwashed investors globally to accept speculation and drag. As a result, they followed the herd into anything liquid, all under the banner of liquidity. People think Mark Zuckerberg was the original dopamine dealer, but in my estimation, Charles Schwab created liquidity as a financially engineered product available to the masses. Things happen much faster today. Amazon, started a little more than 30 years ago, has one of the highest market caps in existence. Wealth creators and legacies today face the dismal issue of trying to make sure they can hang on to what they received as part of a $9 trillion massive wealth transfer, let alone trying to leave a legacy worth remembering. There's a lot to navigate: environmental, social, and governance consequences, commonly known as ESG, for every decision you make today in a very conspicuous world, and politics has officially become a market driver. But what's the difference between a new $300 million family versus a $30 billion family? Is it the zeros? No, it's not. Once you reach a certain level of wealth, you're no longer interested in adding another zero to your portfolio. Your focus and your vision become set on something more. This is what truly drives the investing decision-making for the top 1,000th of the 1% of the wealthiest families in the world. How do I know? I've been building investing legacies for some of the wealthiest private family offices for over 20 years. I've seen firsthand that different things keep you up at night once you reach beyond the $100 million and beyond mark. You worry about building your legacy, making the best investments, and finding the right team to manage your assets. And the most significant sleep deprivation driver of all, will the next generation blow it? Statistics show that the first generation builds it, the second generation barely sustains it, as in holding on to dear life. By the third generation, all the assets and wealth accumulation have metaphorically dissolved into evaporation. I have dedicated my career to helping families protect their investing legacy for the long term beyond the third generation curse, where most fizzle out. I've seen the distress caused when decisions are not made dispassionately, and how reputation and legacies built over several generations can be destroyed overnight. This tragedy occurs because someone didn't know the hard questions to ask in advance, or worse yet, tried it on their own. Starting out my career at Goldman Sachs in investment banking during its partnership days, I quickly learned how to establish a reputation built on honesty and often that cold, sobering clinch of reality that has often earned me the trust of many of the highest level investors alive today. Most of these are featured in my latest book, Investing Legacy: How the 0.001% Invest. My greatest fulfillment comes from the intimate conversations that happen when a member of an elite family opens up to me about the struggles that they face in private and the fears that they can share with no one else. You see, there are not many people who have dedicated their lives to understanding the psychological stress, paranoia, depression, or anxiety that these wealth creators and legacies experience. They hold a brave face to the outside world and never share their secret world of confusion, regret, and fear that they will be the one who blows the entire family legacy and fortune. I've coined the term the decimals because they are in the top 1,000th of the 1% of society's wealth bracket. Like any classification of our culture, the decimals have unique desires, interests, fears, and insecurities. It's just that the decimals, unlike other sectors of our population, do not have the same sounding board or public sympathy as the rest. The decimals are constantly bombarded by people asking them for money to invest in their startups and charity donations that never reach any level of satiation. Everyone approaches them with their hand out, and most of them give generously, yet no one has ever turned the tables to ask, what do you need most? The decimals are a forgotten, isolated sector of our society because they have ascended past pity, yet they struggle just like us. They are human after all. The decimals are still struggling in their way. Many of them are alone in their quest to hold it all together while secretly wishing someone would care enough to listen to their concerns. This special report is my absolution to help as many of the decimals as possible rise above the struggles that they face in building and investing legacy. I've listed here the biggest mistakes I've seen that will stop you from securing your family's name on a library somewhere. Avoiding these can help you ensure that your investing legacy lasts for more than generations, but for eternity.